I was 52 years old when I took my first immersion trip.
And how can you sleep?
I took my first immersion experience when I was 39 years old.
How can you cry?
I took my first trip with Hand in Hand Ministries when I was 61 years old.
How can you hear?
What if we had our first immersion experience when we were young enough to really allow it to shape our critical choices, our careers, and our lives?
I was 16 when I took my first immersion trip.
Well, it's a beautiful day in the world.
And it just really expanded, my vision of how big the world actually is.
Money gets me down.
Some of these kids come from really challenging backgrounds, and a trip like this can make such a big difference in their lives.
I catch myself.
The Belize director of Hand in Hands came the night before we left to talk to us, and he asked us to sit and think about why God chose us to go on this trip. And now I know why.
How can you cry?
I realized that we weren't just building a house and that we were creating bonds with people.
I think one of the reasons why I believe this program is so important and that it touches me on a deeper level is because I quit school and had my first child at 17.
The neighborhood that I live in is not exactly the safest place to live in. Can't play in the parks, especially around nighttime, because of the violence and the shootings and a bunch of gang-related activities.
I believe that my counselor, Miss Conklin, she chose me for this trip because she knew that I had been struggling with some personal issues my freshman and sophomore year. I didn't really like myself that much as a human being.
I know what it's like to be transformed by an immersion trip experience. I know what it's like to come home and have my world rocked by what I saw and the entire experience together. And I was 39, and the idea of that happening when I was a teenager and thinking about how that could have affected my life and the lives of the people around me.
I honestly don't know why I was chosen, because I'm not very outgoing. Well, I wasn't, and was always quiet and shy.
I was chosen by my counselor at Fern Creek High School. I believe she chose me because she knows of the hardships I've faced between my mom and her losing custody and her substance abuse, and me finding her overdosing and calling poison control all the time. That it's a lot for a 12-year-old to endure.
In my sophomore year, I was hanging out with the wrong group of kids, and I thought they were cool, thinking that it was cool skipping school, like not doing your homework, just being bad in school, not going to class. So I felt like if I hung out with them, then I would be cool. And in reality, they just made really stupid mistakes, and I made them too.
There are a lot of young people out there, and many of us have children that have lots of options and can see the world as a big place. But that's not the case for so many young people. And to give them that opportunity to experience the power of an immersion trip is just such an amazing gift and has the power to really make a big difference.
The trip to Belize gave me an opportunity to meet some other girls that had lived experience similar to mine and also had challenges just like I did.
I think with an experience as important and as life-changing as this was, there was definitely more that went into it than just a decision made by a counselor. I know that there was some higher force, like the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, something went into deciding who went on this trip. Like it changed the rest of our lives.
There's the empowerment that comes with taking a trip like this, between building relationships and gaining new skills. Those are things that make a difference at any time in your life, but to have them happen when you are young and vulnerable, it opens up so many more doors and possibilities in someone's life.
I can't stress enough how much Hands in Hands Ministries changed my life. I never want to leave Hand in Hand Ministries. I want to try to stay involved with them as long as I can.
I've had a lot of obstacles in the past, and I didn't always approach them in the best ways. But now that I've had the experiences with Hand in Hand Ministries, I feel like I will definitely approach them with a better perspective in life.
After the trip to Belize, after coming home and getting back into my normal environment in society, I view myself differently. I think I'm more of a leader and I'm more outgoing and willing to try more things.
I know my life would have been different, you know?
Like, this is what I want my life to be. I want to be helping people and getting sweaty and getting dirty and building things and giving hugs to people and all that good stuff. Like, I don't ever, like, I just saw what I want to be, what I want to do with my life.
But how can you cry on a day like today?
Bam.
How can you sleep on a day like today? How can you hate on a day like today? The most beautiful day in the world. Well, it's a beautiful